It's going too fast and I've not yet caught up and I haven't got children and I haven't got a family. Afterwards, I feel so much lighter, like in my mind, so much lighter. Just the lifestyle of it, as much as I love performing, everything that comes alongside it with auditioning in this existence, even though she's not here anymore, it just felt comforting. Hey guys, how are you doing? 2022. Which, can I say, I'm really excited for. I just have a really good gut feeling about 2022. 2021, 2020, they were really bad years. I think they were for most people. How to change your life in 2022. It's really not that serious. I'm not coming at this from a like preaching kind of way and like, you know, I know everything and I'm telling you and you don't know. I don't. So I'm basically just talking to myself as well, so bear that in mind. Number one, stop comparing yourself to others. I'm 29 years old now, I'm going to be 30 in 2022 in June. Oh my god, I still feel like I'm about 16. Part of me does feel like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be 30 and I am nowhere near where I thought I would be in my life. Everything feels like it's going too fast and I've not yet caught up and I haven't got children and I haven't got a family and I haven't got a dog and I haven't got this like, you know, really high paying job and I haven't got a new car and all of this stuff that we all think about. And a lot of the time, the things that we learn at certain points in our life, we wouldn't have learned them if we hadn't have experienced those things at that time. I don't think that I am supposed to be at a stage in my life where I am like settling down or anything right now, because I think in this stage of my life, I'm supposed to be just spending time by myself and like setting myself up. When we compare ourselves, it's so easy to look at someone and think that they have everything or they know everything, when really we don't know enough to be able to actually judge that. A lot of the time somebody might have a great career, but then they might have really poor relationships and a really bad home life. Or it might look like someone has this perfect relationship on Instagram, but when really they're actually going through a lot of problems, but they just don't show that. So you can't compare yourself to someone because you don't actually know what is happening. The girl that you're lusting after that has really long legs, that's really good, that's one of her good points, but maybe you have got really lovely hair or you have really nice teeth or whatever it is. Every single person has something that somebody else doesn't have. You just have to appreciate the things that you do like about yourself. I'll go with one thing that I like about myself physically and then one thing that I like about myself as a person. So physically, I like my hair, yeah. It's really cool that I can change my hair from curly to straight. When I was growing up, I hated curly hair and I did not appreciate it at all. But now that I'm older, I have learnt its value and yeah, I love my hair. Thanks God, universe, mum and dad. One thing that I like about myself as a person, I'm really kind. Kindness is something that I personally value and I try my hardest to make sure that I can give a bit of that kindness to somebody, even if it's the guy that's serving me at Costa. Like, I want to make sure that his experience serving me has been nice. Which sounds really silly, but yeah, I like the fact that I'm kind. We always are used to kind of spending time with people, whether it's friends, family, at work, whatever. I tend to spend a lot of time on my own. I've had times in my life where I've been surrounded by lots of friends. I've had times in my life where I've been so sociable and I've been, you know, going out all the time and partying. I'm so glad I had those experiences because I had so much fun, and I think it's nice to have a variety in life. Of course, it's always great to spend time with loved ones, and being on your own all the time is not good. But I think we do need to spend some time alone. I think it's completely relative to how you are as a person. So for me, I find that I definitely need to have like a good few days to myself to kind of recharge and everything. First time I spent a lot of time by myself was when I finished university. I was 22 years old. I had just broken up with a long-term boyfriend. My mum had died like barely a year before, and I was also living on my own. So I had a lot of life changes all kind of at once, and it was really like hard to adjust to at first because everything had changed in my life and I wasn't used to this new way of living. But I actually learned quite quickly that spending time by myself was really good for me. Obviously, with everything happening with the pandemic in the last like year and a half, everyone has had to kind of be by themselves. I've spoken to friends that have said that they've had to deal with like childhood traumas or traumas from years ago that they thought they'd dealt with that had come back to the surface because perhaps maybe they hadn't dealt with them at the time, and then now that they were on their own, they were able to really process them. And I've had that too. It can be so difficult sometimes because you're just faced with your problems and you can feel very suffocated and it can feel a bit overwhelming, but with that comes a sense of freedom. Definitely spending time by yourself can just make you realise what you need. I definitely think that since I started doing that more, it did help me to become more grounded, more confident. Spending time by yourself is important. I always used to think that meditating was trying to stop any thoughts from coming in your head and just trying to have a really silent mind. And maybe it is for some people, which is absolutely fine, but for me, I find that really difficult. Like, I feel like everyone's brains are buzzing all the time. I think that meditation can also be not silencing your mind, but quietening your mind. I think that it's more about just letting your thoughts freely go from thought to thought and not attaching yourself too much to one thought. I personally just type into YouTube meditation or guided meditation. I'll have so many times where I'm feeling really anxious and not myself. I'll put on a meditation for like maybe half an hour, and then afterwards I feel so much lighter, like in my mind, so much lighter, and whatever anxiety I feel like I'm holding in my chest has just like somewhat released. We hold on to our emotions without realizing, because that's what we do. Like, we obviously remember things, good and bad, so meditation just helps us to breathe. I feel like I can breathe when I've meditated. I've had so many times where my eyes have been streaming with tears and I'm sobbing and crying, either during a meditation or afterwards, because I'm just so relieved and I'm so like moved by what I've just listened to. Honestly, it's amazing the places that it can take your mind to. I used to journal from time to time when I was like between the ages of 6 to about 15 or something. Not even really knowing about the benefits of it, but just knowing that I liked writing down how I felt and just realising how therapeutic that felt, even though I didn't know that it was supposed to be good for you. Yeah, I started doing it again about a year and a half ago. It's a really good thing to be able to write down what's on your mind and to just get it all out on paper. Sometimes you don't realise how you're feeling until you put the pen in your hand and you start writing, and then all of these thoughts might start flooding. You'll just realise patterns, you'll realise thoughts that you've been having for a while, and then you'll start to sometimes puzzle pieces of your life together. That sounds really dramatic, but you kind of just notice things. Looking at some of my journals from a year ago or so, I can realise how unhappy I was at the time, how fragile I was as a person. When I was a little girl, I absolutely adored reading. I just used to find it so fun that I could read a book and have all of these stories in my mind. Throughout my 20s, I've like dabbled in a bit of reading, but In the last maybe year, I've tried to read as consistently as possible. I have such a deep, lovely sleep and I feel so rested when I wake up the next morning. Whereas when I haven't read a book, I can notice the difference. It takes me longer to fall asleep. I think as well that's how I started enjoying acting and things like that, and how I kind of became creative. I think it was from reading. Perfect. Love a book. When we're children, we tend to have hobbies, whether it's swimming or gymnastics or dancing. These were the things that I did when I was a little girl. And then as you get older, you just kind of focus on work and building a life, and for some reason hobbies just get forgotten about. So for me, I obviously love to sing. You hear me singing all the time. That is definitely like one of my passions or hobbies. Also, YouTube is a hobby for me as well. So I absolutely love making videos, editing videos. At one point, I was really into makeup, collecting different beauty products and just really enjoying using makeup and applying it for different looks and things like that. So that was a hobby at one point. It still is kind of, like I do still really love makeup and beauty, but it's not as big of a hobby as it used to be, but I still like really enjoy it. I definitely can notice that when I don't do any of my hobbies at all, like none of them, my life is just so much more dull and I get so bored. I think it's just really good to play, be playful. I think listening to podcasts are great. I personally listen to podcasts when I'm cleaning because I hate cleaning, so it makes the task of cleaning go by a bit quicker and it just makes it, you know, a bit more fun. So yeah, that's when I usually will listen to most of my podcasts. Sometimes when I'm on a walk, but most of the time I like to just walk in silence. I always find that when I'm listening to a podcast, I get these nuggets of information or like these light bulb kind of moments where just like of something that I hadn't thought of before and I see it in a different perspective, or it makes me realise something about myself that I hadn't realised. I think podcasts are great for learning new things. So a lot of the time we sometimes think, I've been doing this for such a long time, I've been studying to be a doctor for a long time, I have been in this relationship for 6 years now. You know, whatever it is, a lot of the time we say to ourselves that because we have invested a certain amount of time in it, or because it's something that we've always done, that we then have to do it. And sometimes even though you have invested in something, it doesn't always work, or you just don't always want to do it. A lot of the time I am someone that doesn't like to quit things. I like to stick things out as much as I can. You sometimes have to balance out whether something is worth it. Yeah, I think sometimes we need to, me too, I need to do this, need to let go of things. We just change as people. Sometimes you might think you want to do something and then you kind of experience it a bit and realise actually it's not for me. Well, I thought I wanted to be a musical theatre actor. Before I did my musical theatre course, I had done some acting. Through doing acting before doing the musical theatre course, and also through doing the musical theatre course, I kind of realised that actually I don't know if it's for me. Just the lifestyle of it, as much as I love performing, everything that comes alongside it with auditioning and getting rejections and the uncertainty of the lifestyle, kind of not being in control of your career. For me personally, I just realised, I don't think I want to do this right now. I mean, that might change, who knows? When I'm like 35, I might say, oh, actually, I do want to go into musical theatre. Also, I realised that like, I'm really bad at taking directions and instructions, and those are things I really struggle with, and I can get them once I get my head around them, but it just wasn't worth it to me. So yeah, I just kind of changed my mind, and at this current moment, I don't want to pursue musical theatre, which is absolutely fine. And that's why it's good to try things out as well, because you realise when you try them, if you want to do them or not. So, yeah. I used to have really high expectations for everybody in my life, every single person. I don't know if I used to kind of assume or just expect that people would value me the same way that I valued them. And when they didn't, I would get really disappointed and upset. And then I realised that I had to lower my expectations, because not everybody has my best interest. If it's somebody, perhaps like a toxic family member or a toxic colleague at work, why are you gonna make yourself upset again and again and again? Because you're trying to get something from someone that they're never gonna give you, because they just don't care about you enough almost. I have a toxic family member in my family. I think most of us do, maybe. If you don't, then you're very lucky. You know, we do have toxic family members sometimes, and it's not always as simple as just cutting someone out. So in that case, you might have to just adjust the way that you are with them. Maybe, you know, distancing yourself a bit, trying not to spend too much time with them if you can help it. You sometimes can't always be yourself when you're with them, which might sound like, you know, you should always be yourself all the time. And yes, you should, but to a degree. It's just kind of to protect yourself, really. So to protect your heart and to make sure that you're putting yourself first rather than them. I used to be the type of person as well that if something was happening with someone, you know, with whoever this toxic person was, whether it's family or friends or relationship or whatever, I would want to like be there for them and care for them and talk to them about it and make them understand and help them, because they need to see that this is wrong. And sometimes that can work, like, but sometimes when you've tried so much with somebody and it still doesn't work, like in the end you're just chipping away at yourself because you're trying to help them. So in that case, yeah, you just have to lower your expectations, accept that this is how they are. This is the reason why I love YouTube, because I feel like when I record vlogs, you know, with memories, with family members I'm so close to and great friends, and then like other like really cool memories of things that have happened, it's just the best thing ever to be able to have those moments to look back on. But yeah, romanticizing your life, it can be something so simple. So like when I'm having a shower and I'm washing my hair, like, oh, the feeling when the water is running like over your head, and when you're using the shampoo and it smells so nice, and it's, you know, sometimes when I put my head under the water I feel like I'm under a waterfall and I can feel it trickling down my back, and it's just lovely, you know. Anytime I know that I have to drive somewhere, it's an excuse for me to have a karaoke concert in my car and just jam to some music and sing my lungs out and just have the best time, you know. It's just the little things, like the tiniest things. I get a lot of squirrels in my garden sometimes, so it's so lovely when I can open the blinds and I see the squirrels running around, and it's just the cutest thing ever. Like in the most mundane things, looking for something that's exciting. I am not naturally a tidy person. I'm naturally quite messy, to be honest. I feel like everyone on YouTube is like such tidy queens, and I'm just like, oh, I wish that was me. See, there I go, comparing myself. Don't do that, June. It's something I just have to work on. It's just one of the things that I'm, you know, not naturally as gifted at. I think as well, sometimes I kind of sabotage myself, because instead of cleaning a little bit every day or doing a bit here and there, I will have like a big cleaning session where I'll clean the whole flat and I'll be doing it for the whole day. Whereas if I had just done like 20 minutes each day or something, or 20 minutes every so often, then I wouldn't have such a huge task. That is one thing I definitely need to work on in 2022. I definitely find that when I'm not active at all, my mental health suffers. I just feel really flat. So doing some sort of activity, whether it's a workout or a walk, just makes me feel so much better. I've had stages where I'm quite fit and I'm looking kind of leanish and I'm quite strong. And then I've had stages like where I am now, where I'm quite a bit fluffier when you're dealing with certain life events. some things can take a back seat. Ever since I started working out for the first time when I was like 21 or something, I have always tried to prioritize it throughout my life since then, but you know, sometimes there might be times where it's kind of out of your control, which is fine. Yeah, back on the wagon again. But yeah, just doing a little bit of exercise of some sort just makes me feel better, clears my mind. Yeah, it's a little bit like meditating, I guess. And a lot of the time, the times when I don't want to work out are the times when I should work out, because that's when I need it. I'm such a night owl. I don't even know why, but I just cannot get myself to go to sleep before 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's such a bad habit. Yeah, sleep is really important, and a lot of the time I don't get enough sleep. I know most people don't get enough sleep. It affects you so badly when you don't sleep. So it's something that I definitely have to work on. I just need to get a bit more organised and do things a bit earlier and sooner, and tell myself that if I haven't had like that extra hour to be able to do everything I wanted to do, then it doesn't matter. Like, I can do it the next day, but sleep is more important. I mean, obviously you can't always appreciate bad moments because some things are just bad, but you know, if you can, sometimes you can find another side to the coin. Like, for example, when I went to the doctor's this morning, and you know, when you're in the waiting room and you're waiting for the doctor to call your name. So this doctor comes out and was like, Anita, stay. Anita was my mum. She died back in 2012. When I heard this doctor say her name, I did think, oh, that's my mum's name. But I thought maybe there's just another Anita waiting as well. But it wasn't. She meant to say my name, June. And then she realised and she said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I meant to say your name, I'm so sorry. And she was so apologetic. She felt really bad, bless her. And I was like, it's fine, it's fine. And then afterwards, when I left the surgery, I did feel a little bit like, not sad, but, well, yeah, I guess sad, because I thought, well, I wish that obviously my mum was here. But then I thought at the same time, I'm glad that that happened, because I can't remember the last time I heard somebody mention my mum's name, and it felt nice to have her name be said, like, now in this existence, even though she's not here anymore. It just felt comforting. That was the kind of positive side of it that I looked at. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video. Oh my God, I feel like I have been talking for 10 hours. My throat is so dry. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have the most fantastic 2022, sending all the good vibes, all the good energy, manifesting a good 2022. Okay? Okay. See you next time. Bye.